Let's step back a bit and look at the big picture. At the national level, all of our hard work in 2018 gave us a Democratic House. We have a Republican Senate and a Republican President. We are looking at the primary season next year with hopefuls already squaring off and one of the most momentous elections in memory coming in the next year. On the national stage, New Mexico will be electing all its House members and one senator. While those positions are all Democrats now, that is not guaranteed for 2020. We will be voting in the primary for some of those positions, in addition to the presidential primary. All of our hard work in 2018 turned New Mexico into a solid blue state. But some important pieces of legislation didn't pass, mostly because of roadblocks in the New Mexico Senate. We have a long way to go on education outcomes, employment, food security, health coverage, homelessness, and more. We have an important role to play in creating the infrastructure and programs that enable New Mexico's residents to survive and thrive. Gains were made legislatively in many of these categories in the 2019 legislative session, underscoring the importance of deep organizing of our precincts and wards and coordinating with forward-thinking candidates to inform voters and help those candidates get elected. There are city council elections this fall, and in 2020 we will be electing state senators and representatives. So where do we want to be? We obviously want to win elections, but we also want meaningful employment at living wages, quality education for our children, food security, affordable housing, effective and affordable Medicare for all our residents, and secure reproductive rights for all people, economic, social, and environmental justice, criminal justice reform, robust voting rights and voting access, and obviously many more. The question is, how can we work in our precincts to build toward those meaningful goals? We can support more voters in engaging with the political process. We can connect residents to candidates working on issues they care about so they feel heard and are more inspired to engage. We can develop structure and power in our communities to hold our elected officials accountable. We can grow our capacity to support small donor and publicly financed campaigns to increase grassroots influence on candidates and elections. And we can foster leadership development at the grassroots right in our precincts to find and grow tomorrow's leaders. If you can imagine it, we can do it. One important issue we have to think about is voter turnout. Across the country, turnout remains low, especially for certain groups. Does this represent a lack of faith in the political process, barriers to registration, barriers to voting, lack of voter outreach? With constant Republican efforts to reduce voting rights, we must make this a priority. We need to pay special attention to building relationships with people who don't vote or don't register. Anecdotally, canvassers in Albuquerque and likely across the state have often heard the person answering the door remark that no one from the Democratic Party has ever come by in all the years they lived there. Rather than think in terms of certain groups having low turnout, think in terms of whether they have been passed over. Get to know them, find out what issues matter to them, and take up those issues with the party and with candidates. Don't shy away from it, make it a focus. Circle back. Multiple contacts increases turnout. See if you can engage volunteers from different demographics to assist and take on some of the canvassing of those groups.